So Peaceful, thanks very much indeed. Former Free State MEC Mxolisi Dukwana has returned to the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into state capture. He's appeared to suggest there was a system of patronage in the province. He's also said he's happy to face the former Free State Premier and now ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule in court. Magashule, for his part, has appeared to threaten to take Dukwana to court over claims he's made against him. Dukwana has also explained how Magashule took him to meet the Gupta family while he was still an MEC in the Free State. Mxolisi is our reporter who's been there. He's with me now. Mxolisi, good evening to you. All right. More testimony today, a bit of delays around arguments, but more testimony today, and it seems some implication and some claims against Ace Magashule.
Well, certainly, Stephen, and this is not the first time that the former Free State Premier and now ANC Secretary-General is being implicated. I mean, in the State Capture Commission, of course, we heard in the Frida Dairy Farm testimony as well, his name coming up there. So again, we've heard his name coming up, but you recall that, of course, when Dukwana came for the first time in the commission, he had testified about how the former Free State Premier had taken him to meet the Guptas at their compound and how they had then offered, excuse me, a bribe of 2 million rand on the spot and monthly for him to approve a government contract for one of their business associates. And of course, today, seemingly again, Magashule being implicated, he went into detail about, really how it was in the Free State under his administration, saying that there was a system of patronage and that, there was rampant corruption at the time. And he says the situation got so bad that the people who were fighting against corruption were actually threatened and told that, you will become a nothing, we will deal with you. He says that they were told that, of course, you will be poor, we will even take your wife. So he says, he was quite disappointed by the state of affairs there because he was one of the people who was rooting for Ace Magashule to become the Premier of the Free State. And of course, he says, little did they know what was to come. Let's take a listen to what he has to say on this, Stephen.
At the time, we were really impressed that we've got a person who has keen interest in knowing people he worked with. Little did we know that it was not intended in the way that we thought it was. And as one will demonstrate later, that when I said a system was built in the Free State, a system of patronage, instilling fear, dispensing patronage, instilling fear, and to a large extent, Chairperson, that many structures were compromised. You can go to the police in the Free State, many of them, very much compromised, from the highest level to down.
Okay, those are serious claims that are being made there. There is a body of people who are supposed to be independent in the Free State. I'm talking to the judiciary. They've also now been brought into this. What did Dukwana say about judges in the Free State? Well,
of course, as you've heard in that previous soundbite, saying that even the police themselves were compromised during Magashule's reign there at the Free State. And of course, he says also the judiciary, a very serious allegation that the judiciary in the Free State is captured. And he says this is the reason why Magashule has also gone there now in this new defamation case involving the ATM. But let's take a listen to what he had to say on this.
You go to the judiciary, and that is very interesting that I'm making this just to demonstrate that there is also a case of defamation of character by one person who claimed that he wanted to build, he established this movement, ATM. And the fact that he's taking it to Bloemfontein, I personally said to other people, there is a reason that he's taking it to Bloemfontein, because he knows in Bloemfontein he would not lose the case. It's rife in the Free State that some of our people who are serving in the judiciary in the Free State are really compromised. And some of them were also doing business at some stage with the provincial government. Some would have...
is that before they became judges or what?
Yeah, it was before they became judges. And some would have their wives also working, doing business with government. So we know what is happening in the Free State.
Wow, that is quite something that he said there about judges. We haven't had claims like this in the past. I mean, Judge Raymond Zondo is the Deputy Chief Justice.
Yes.
Was he as shocked as everyone else?
Of course, Stephen, you remember that, the judiciary is one of the tiers of government, and so a very important one, because it should do its work without fear or favor. So to hear such allegations is something very seriously, and the chair, of course, taking it seriously and saying that, if there's any evidence that seems to suggest this, he wants more of that. Let's take a listen.
I would like you and all those who have got information, evidence about that uneasiness, to come forward and give that information to the Commission, because of all the arms of the state, the judiciary is the one arm where people should feel comfortable that if they bring cases, those cases will be dealt with impartially, without fear, favor, or prejudice.
The Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo speaking there. All right, it seems the bombs are not over. Have we got Mxolisi Dukwana back tomorrow?
Well, of course, Stephen is back tomorrow, and tomorrow we start at 9 a.m.
Mankoba, thanks very much indeed. Mankoba Mkunu there with you with the latest on that. And of course, more testimony tomorrow. You'll be able to watch it live on sabcnews.com as well.